Welcome back to National Divorce. We do have some interesting news related to the concept of national divorce that just came out, just found out about it. Want to say thank you to Daniel Miller of the Texas Nationalist Movement. We didn't know about the story until the leader of Texas Nationalist Movement informed us. By the way, according to them, they're the ones that got this news story out there. Reporters hadn't really picked up that Donald Trump had done this, and so TNM made sure to inform the news that this has happened. And this is the result. So, Donald Trump endorses Texas secession campaigner on Texas independence and then work towards a fair and expedient separation of Texas from the federal government should this pass. So, that just came out February 2nd. And here's what happened. Donald Trump endorsed a guy called Covey. He gave him his complete and total endorsement as an America First conservative. Covey is listed as a signatory to the Texas First pledge on the Texas Nationalists Take Texas. Covey is listed as a signatory to the Texas First pledge on the Texan Nationalist Take Texas Back website. He states that he will vote for legislation and resolutions to call for a vote on Texas reasserting its status as an independent nation if a referendum is held. The Texas First Pledge has been signed by dozens of election candidates, primarily Republicans, seeking a variety of offices ranging from state representative, precinct chairs, and members of the state board of election. Daniel Miller, president of the pro-independence Texas Nationalist Movement, is one of those organizing the Texas First Pledge. So there's a representative in Texas called Covey. He took this Texas First Pledge, which says he publicly pledges that if there's a referendum for Texas independence, he will vote on it. That's all it says. It doesn't say that he wants secession and he's going to move towards secession. What it says is the Texas Nationalist Movement got some candidates when they were running to endorse this pledge. It says, if it's on the ballot, would you vote for it or would you allow a vote? And I have to say, we at Calexit completely endorse that. There's no way you can say in a democracy, how dare you have a legal vote for the people to decide their future? That's ridiculous. It's not democracy to do that. So Trump's endorsed the Texas secession manager, Texas Nationalist Movement, got Covey to sign the pledge, and then they also informed the media this was happening. So that's the relevant news right now. How does this relate to California? Well, the thing is that secession's been heating up in the news because of Texas and the border crisis. And now we have Donald Trump saying, well, Texas wants to secede, and I'll back that. So what would Donald Trump do about California if he was president again? Here's where it gets interesting. On August 27th of 2019, we here pointed out that multiple Trump officials had already talked about the idea of kicking out California from the Union. So Sean Spicer on August 16th in 2019, how about a trade sell San Francisco for Greenland? Arthur Schwartz on August 16th, 2019 said they can have all of California. Wayne Allyn Root, March 18th, 2018 said adios California. Nation should wave goodbye. Steve Bannon, October 21st, 2017 said California will secede from the U.S. All of those people worked for Donald Trump and were high-ranking people. Steve Bannon ran his campaigns. Wayne Allyn Root was a promoter of him. Arthur Schwartz, I believe, was a policy advisor, and Sean Spicer was a spokesperson. So high-ranking members in the Donald Trump coalition saying, let's get rid of California, endorsing California secession. Mostly just get rid of it. And this was the news piece on the One America News Network where I was able to cover this news, that all these Trump supporters wanted California out. We got on the conservative network, One America News Network, with the Daily Ledger with Keith Ledger. This is a graphic we had made up at the time, showcasing the idea, how they viewed America. Now, this should not be that strange that so many conservatives said, let's get rid of California, because here's another fact. The Republican National Convention in 2020 was designed all about how California is the epitome of not America and horrible. And as I've asked many historians, there's never been a political party conference, their annual conference, where they say, let's pick on this one state as being horrible and awful. That doesn't happen. So picking a state to say these guys are the example of everything wrong with America is unique for party conferences, party conventions. And they picked on California. And this was in 2020. Speakers at the Republican National Convention turned California into a dystopian punchline on Monday, portraying America's populous state as a dangerous wasteland. Kimberly Guilfoyle took a slam on them. And then Matt Gaetz of Florida also took a slam on them. We've also covered how governor candidates for Nevada governors have also taken this. So Trump officials said, we hate California. Let's just kick them out. The Republican Party at the end of Trump's presidency said, California is the worst possible, most un-American thing out there. Let's focus on that as a party. Pick on one state. And they're not alone. So here's a variety of articles. So this is what I routinely talk to people about. March 1st, 2017, Washington Times, a third of America wouldn't miss California if it seceded. Time to pull the plug on California for Real Clear Politics. SF Gate talked about how conservative trolls wished death on Californians near the Oroville Dam. So the Oroville Dam collapsed, and a lot of conservatives were saying, we're glad Californians are dead. It was so horrible, San Francisco Chronicle had to cover it. Orange County Register, rest of USA to California, make our day with Calexit. Go ahead and get the hell out of here. By the way, the person who wrote that is Washington Bureau Chief for Real Clear Politics. Real Clear Politics wrote this. Let's get it. Opinion, out-of-state conservatives are some of Calexit's biggest fans from the Los Angeles Times. Conservatives should fully support California's effort to secede by American Lookout. We should be so lucky California moves closer to Calexit, Joe for America. Calexit means American taxpayers won't have to bail out California's ticking pension time bomb. There's Forbes magazine saying, yeah, let's back Calexit. Let California secede and take crybaby, I'll leave America if Trump is elected, liberals with them. A conservative daily news, Forbes magazine, American Lookout, LA Times also commented, OC Register, SF Great, Real Killer Politics, Washington Times. The Wrap is also another major thing. California secession movement gets a collective buy from Twitter. Apparently, the Golden State won't be missed. National poll conducted by Fox News 2014 says they want California kicked out of the union. American real estate company Mavoto says California's least patriotic, least liked of 50 states. Business Insider in 2013 shows that most Americans want California gone. They hate it. True Car Sales 2013 also showed California tied with Hawaii, least patriotic. 2012, USA CEOs by American Magazine chief executive said California should secede. They hate it. And here's where it gets interesting. February 2012, San Francisco Chronicle and the LA Weekly both had to write articles on, damn, it looks like America just hates California. So it's not just conservatives saying, it's liberal magazines have had to acknowledge that we are hated. Public policy polling. LA Times, 2 years before they said California's most hated state in 2012. They also had to say in 2010. LA Times opinion staff, that means people who run the paper, admits America seems to hate California. Daily Signal suggests California is not part of America. Remember, they also wrote about us as bad earlier. Time magazine in 2009 admits there's an irrational bias by Americans against California. 2019. So Time magazine says, wow, looks like people hate California. Los Angeles Times had to say that. LA Weekly had to say that. San Francisco Chronicle had to say that. Here's the New York Times saying it looks like everyone hates California. Television reporter Glenn Beck said, talked hate on California. Jerry Falwell did too. So you can go back to 2009, 2012, and here's these articles again. And basically you see a lot of conservatives saying, get out, leave, we don't care if you secede, it'd be great. And then you have liberal magazines also saying, wow, it looks like we're hated. And then some neutral magazines saying, well, maybe it wouldn't be so great if we kicked out California. It would be kind of cool. This is so well known that it's known internationally. So this just isn't just domestic politics. Deutsche Welle is a German newspaper. How California became Trump's most hated state. That's German news. The Atlantic is an international policy magazine of the highest order. And Trump's attacks on California are short-sighted, but actually what they called it was attacking California is easy Trump bait. The Atlantic had to cover it. Then here's UCI sites. How much does Trump hate California? So when international news from the Germans, from an international policy tank are saying, wow, it looks like Trump hates California, there's something to it. So here's Trump saying, I endorse Texas secession. Here's Trump staffers saying, we hate California, get rid of it. Here's that being covered in conservative news. Here's Los Angeles Times reporting about how it looks like the RNC under Trump is dedicated to hating California. Here's articles from 2017 to 28 showing many conservatives, many polls say we hate California, go ahead and leave. And then we have news, global recognition that Trump hates California. And this comes to this point. We had written this, or I personally wrote this for the Stockton Record. And what I said was Trump's reelection could intensify the Calexit push for secession because people reacted so poorly to him that they may find interest in California again. And what's interesting now, and I'm not speculating, is you may have a president who endorses secession and letting a state secede because he hates that state. So Trump has already said, I endorse Texas secession. Would he endorse California secession, given that he hates us and the Republican Party hates us and has done for years? I argue yes. I argue if he's president, the guy hates us, his staff hates us, the Republican Party hates us. They've done this for about 10 years, saying we're everything but America and they hate us. Of course they'll push for allowing California secession if that's what Californians wanted. And the idea that he has endorsed publicly a Texas secession advocate shows that he's open to the idea of states legally seceding. So wasn't sure how the stance he was going to take on that, but Trump has basically endorsed states can secede. I back it. Are we really supposed to believe if he's reelected, he's not going to turn that on California? We were the one state he hated so much. Everything's going to be in the descriptions. We'll leave it there. This is just news. Don't know what the future is going to be, but a lot of facts that aren't going to be covered in the mainstream news that you should think about, and what could the possible permutations and possibilities be. We'll leave it there. We'll come back with more original news, not covered by the mainstream news or not given enough attention by them very soon. Thank you very much.